Right, hello everyone to Ancient Empires again. Sorry it's been a long time, but as I'm sure you're all aware, I'm pretty busy, actually making the damn thing. Today I'm just going to be showcasing off a nice little match me, Jackie Fish, Havoc, JohnnyCobra and Draco had. Basically it's a 3 of us here against these 2. Apologies for pretty minor lag, but everything else should be pretty good. I mean, my PC's not exactly up to the scratch of most big YouTubers, but it does the job. So hopefully it should be pretty enjoyable. So first of all, I'll just be going over relatively slowly over the army compositions. So this is my army first, basically just the Germanic Cimbri, or the Helvetii in fact. Actually, no, Cimbri, my apologies. So basically just some nice little shot cav here. I can't even begin to pronounce those. Some Germanic heavy horse, which look rather resplendent in the nice morning sun. And that's 3 lots of them. Oh no, 4, sorry. 4 lots of heavy cav. 2 lots of spears, some Shati infantry. These are basically pretty heavy spear infantry. They can form like a phalanx formation as well, and they'll be rushing forward because right here Jackie Fish kind of opened up a nice big opening, so I decided to try and exploit that. So I'll be moving up my spears, these Germanic warriors here, and also my Lancer cav to try and push into this gap here, this nice big gap. I don't know if he did it on purpose, I mean possibly, because it does end up working out relatively well for him, but I kind of wanted to push in. I stopped pushing my cavalry forward at the same time as well, to try and kind of distract his cav so I can push in. It doesn't really go off very well. As you can see, my archers are doing a stellar job of just wrecking his, and also his pikemen here, these Chelipese pikemen, they don't have shields, so I'm aiming to kill as many of them as possible. My front line here is made up of the Germanic nobles late, so they're pretty good infantry. The Germanics tend to have pretty solid attack and charge and pretty good solid everything actually. Morale as well. I'd probably say the Germans are probably one of the most all-round kind of good gameplay factions to have. Then of course we have some Germanic champions here just to pack a little punch and spread a little fear, which I'll be sending in just over here. As you can see, this cavalry engagement is now setting off against his Cappadocian cav and mercenary Galatian riders. He also has some Pontic reformed spearmen, which seems to be the basis of his army, as well as some more Cappadocian cav here and his mercenary Sarmatian, which is his general. Alongside some Pontic Royal Guard reserves, some very light Scythian archers which were shredded before even I got to show you them, and also some more Pontic reformed spears, which are now kind of being rushing towards my army, as I presume he seems to be trying to make the most of this advantage, trying to make sure that my archers don't just pick him off immediately. You can see in our centre here we have the Macedonians, led by Draco. Basically just a large Macedonian phalanx of pretty high tier kind of phalanx troops. We've got the Peltas here and then some Gemma as well. And they look pretty nice, I have to admit. And then all the way over on this flank we have the Dacians. I'm sure you've seen these guys before, and I think they look absolutely splendid. The variety in these shields is just amazing. Oh, one of my men are broken already. That's always good. Havoc started pushing forward his archer cav to try and push back on this flank. He's just trying to harass them. Also got a second line of Dacian chiefs from there. That's his general and the Dacian nobles, which look absolutely amazing. Then there's some slingers behind, and then some kind of sacred squadron and a few cavalry reserves at the back here. Got some Thessalian cav and these 3 units of Dacian cav and Sarmatian cav troops. In fact, pretty damn good cavalry as well, which unfortunately doesn't seem to get used all that much. That's my shock cav running away. They got caught by the pikes. And here you can see my infantry starting to engage this pike wall. I thought I'd be able to shred these guys, to be honest. But even though they don't have any shields, they seem to be doing a pretty good job of standing up against my pretty damn heavy infantry, to be fair. And then you can see these silver shields of Havoc lining up against the Macedonian phalanxes. So I'll put it back to on speed then. So yeah, as you can see, this whole area has just become a massive mess. I've thrown into the mix some spears. My cavalry isn't doing too great. I called for some reinforcements, which should be coming up here, I think. Yeah. So there's some more spearmen, some friendly spearmen and friendly cavalry coming up my way as Havoc pushes across his Cappadocian cavalry to try and support Jackie Fish as well. So yeah, this whole area is just absolutely chock full of just death and destruction. Tons of guys just killing each other. And it is unfortunately not looking my way. Like I said before, one of my units of cavalry already routed, and I'm having a little trouble trying to keep my guys in check, trying to make sure they don't run away, so I'm running up my general support. My Germanic champions here are trying to push back his reformed spears to try and get them out of the way of my cavalry, because I really don't want this unit of cavalry dying as well. So I'm pretty much just doing everything I can to try and support my cavalry, stop them from being killed, and luckily that is the job. These reformed spearmen are already routing from my Germanic champions. These Pontic Royal Guard are doing a pretty good job of standing up to my champions, and will probably end up beating them, unfortunately. My archers are doing a pretty good job of just targeting anything in the back lines, firing at these Imgur over here. I was just trying to take out his general, just trying to stop them from kind of, you know, issuing their war cry, which I'm sure you have all seen is absolutely deadly. Unfortunately, my infantry isn't doing too great, and this flank will start collapsing pretty darn soon, which is why I've rushed my archers back, because I know they're going to break through and I want to stop them peppering at the enemy as soon as possible. Meanwhile, this whole pike line is being engaged all the way across. We have Havoc firing some fire arrows, trying to get that nice morale debuff. This decent spear wall is just nice sack, trying to kill his asbestos. And both of them are doing relatively okay, but I mean the kills here. Oh, Havoc's got his asbestos throwing me around. I didn't even notice that. The kills here are pretty even, pretty low as well. It doesn't really do much on this flank. It tends to kind of just stick and stay the same. Not really much going on. It's pretty even. And the Cataphract cavalry here and the militia horse archers against these Summation Cataracts and the Dacian heavy horse seem to be pretty stable as well. I mean, we didn't even get a charge off there, so therefore he's on the back foot. Johnny doesn't seem to be doing a great job of managing his cavalry. I think he got a bit kind of distracted by everything else that's going on. And then therefore we have some more pikemen coming up here to do support. These Cappadocian Cav have just broken through and are going straight for my Germanic bowmen, which is not a good day for them. Absolutely wrecked. I'm trying to just pour archer fire onto his Cappadocian Cav, because Havoc managed to slip them through this little gap here, and it's now just causing complete havoc, which I guess is his namesake, with his cavalry, and he seems to do that pretty darn well. As I'm kind of pretty much just fearing for my life, at which point I try and send my Germanic heavy horse, which I just pulled out of this combat here, and try and rush them towards his cavalry here, just rear charge my units as well. I didn't even notice that the first time. And Johnny has his cavalry push over against Havoc's just to try and support me. Over here the allied cavalry of Draco and my infantry are starting to wrap up the cavalry engagement on this flank. It's just taken a pretty long while, but we seem to be slowly getting the upper hand as the Draco and my spearmen start running away, which is never a good sign. Here you can see Jackie getting a little brave with his general, pushing into that gap, just trying to see if he can find any way to exploit this gap here. But it's getting pretty close down by the cavalry in this area. This punted rear guard is going to start getting surrounded by all the cavalry in the area, and my archers are going to start trying to pick off his general. Not really causing too much casualties, probably down to the massive amount of armour these guys have. As you can see, the pikemen here is starting to roll up my flank even more than they were before. Like most of my kind of line is disintegrated. You can see just the sheer amount of dead bodies on the floor. The Germans have just died to these pikemen, which is really surprising because I genuinely thought my guys would have the upper hand, but it would seem not. We've got some Macedonian Peltas phalanx kind of supporting us here, but phalanx is not being the most kind of offensive infantry. You're not going to get like a load of kills, not unless you're fighting kind of lighter troops anyway. This is Jackie Fish managed to recharge the Gimmer pikes here, and I believe where is it? Havoc was going to charge one of his cavalry units into an area somewhere around here. Not quite sure. See, these slingers aren't doing a great deal of damage. They don't really have the sight line because slingers tend to fire relatively low trajectories, so they can't actually fire over the troops. Meanwhile, these kind of archers, you can see, at least they started charging in, they can actually fire over the lines of battle. This whole line here of pikemen is pretty static still. The Dacian spear walls and the asbestos are still pretty level. Oh, we managed to get some Thracians around the flanks here, not quite sure how, but he managed to do that. Here you go. As you can see, the arrows are managing to go over and attack these Gemma pikes. They're probably doing more damage to these Pontic Royal Guards than there is to the actual pikemen. And then we've got some Rhodium slingers pushing into support, which I doubt will do much damage against these Royal Guards. I mean, they are tired, but I'm not sure how much that's going to actually affect. Although they do seem to be getting a few casualties. Yeah, they seem to be doing a pretty good casualties. See there, this is a perfect example of the fatigue mechanic kind of pushing in here. So you've got these active slingers managing to push against these Pontic Royal Guards. Also you've got the again here, which are obviously going to do a pretty damn good job of wiping them out as well. Here you can see I'm just trying to kind of reform my guys after this cold, messy combat here. It's just the sheer amount of dead people lying on the floor. It's a pretty good testament to just how bloody this area was. It's pretty difficult. So yeah, now I've got my Germanic leader, got some Germanic champions and some allied horse as well, just trying to take out these Pontic Guards who just don't seem to want to flee at all. I mean, they're steady and they're also very tired. And they've managed to get a few kills off them. At which point I just start trying to kind of reserve the fatigue of my men. These horses are going to start pushing forwards. Oh dear. This is Havoc managed to charge into the back of these Thracians here, who are attacking the back of the Spassus, which caused chain rout amongst these Dacian spear walls, who are already very tired. So that's the entire section of that line just disappears, which is never good, because we kind of needed that area to win. At which point he starts to throw in a Dacian chieftain. Dacian nobles here are struggling against these Royal Galatian Guards. The Royal Galatians being some of the most heavily armoured troops on the battlefield. pushing his general over again, trying to call some devastating charges. I think he's looking towards this area here, as far as I remember. Yep, there you go. The charge goes a little, it's not as impactful as it could be, although it does cause these stations to waver. Well, I think they were wavering anyway. Yeah, he had quite the effect that he wanted there with his cavalry charge. Meanwhile, on this flank, managed to clear up most of this area. As you can see, all of the Challeby's pikemen and things like that are routed. So that's basically Jackie's army's just gone. At which point, perfectly on time, the entire kind of allied army routes because of the army losses. So it's a relatively short battle. It was pretty quick. I know I didn't manage to get over everything that I kind of wanted to. So here you can see the general kind of kills and things like that. I lost the most just because that flank just collapsed. Draco lost quite a few as well. Let's have a look. What did he lose? His Thracians and some of his cavalry by the looks of it. On my end, you got most of my infantry, my cavalry, one unit of bows as well. Not doing too great on my end. I didn't really have too many troops left at the end of it, but enough to clear up Jackie's army, which was good. On Johnny's side, most of his army is pretty intact, but at the same time he didn't really get that many kills. You can see here there's like 3 kills here, 23, 5, 5, 35, 31. So the actual effectiveness of these Dacian spear walls wasn't that great, but then they are a pretty defensive unit, and it seems they were being used in that kind of way as well. So they're basically just a holding force, and they did pretty well as that until they got routed by the chain route of the Thracians that got routed by Havoc's cavalry. As you can see, the whole army is pretty low on kills. Even his cavalry didn't seem to do that well, with only one of the Dacian heavy horses getting anywhere above 100. Meanwhile, Johnny seems to do pretty well with his pikes. They seem to be pretty low kills, but like they are still a holding force. These Thracians seems to have done not too great. These Rhodian slingers actually seems to have done pretty well actually. You've got 141 kills here, 77 kills, 95 kills. His cavalry, his Thessalian cavalry here has got 120, 91, 60, 54. Not the greatest amount of kills, but pretty good. If you compare it to Johnny's and probably myself's. I've got pretty good kills here with this Germanic late nobles. The rest of them not faring too well. Got 33 kills for these Germanic champions, but 118 for these ones as well. 140 kills from my general, 92 kills from these Lancer Cow, 31 from these ones, which must have been the ones that routed pretty early. Sorry, these are Germanic heavy horse, sorry. 34 kills and 17, not great. These cavalry here, which are the ones that managed to survive the initial kind of attack, got 101 kills. These ones who got caught on the pikes unfortunately got no kills. When we look at Jackie's, these kind of Pontic reformed spearmen haven't got a great number of kills, roughly around 20 to 30 each. I got 113 for this Pontic Royal Guard here. The pikes, as you can see, they've got a load of kills. I did not expect them to do that well. But then again, I guess that's what you get when you try and charge pike walls with relatively light units. I mean, I know these guys are pretty heavy, but not as heavy as, say, like, you know, Roman legionaries. So yeah, they managed to get quite a lot of kills against my infantry, which is probably the mistake that I made, was engaging these pikemen and underestimating them. His Scythian archers, you can see here, did almost nothing. Meanwhile, my longbowmen seem to do quite a bit better. I mean, you know, got 2 and 5 kills. Got 23 kills on these Galatian riders, 41 kills on these Galatian riders, 13, 19 and 19 for all of his shot cav, which is pretty bad if you look at the experience as well here, and also figuring out the fact that they got completely wiped out. So these guys weren't really cost effective for Jackie in this battle. And then if you have a look over here, Cappadocian cav here for Havoc as well wasn't that effective. I think these were the ones that he threw in support of Jackie as well, while the ones he actually used to roam around and actually calls, well, Havoc on the battlefield. They've got 135 kills. His Cataphracts cavalry, which are the ones that engaged on our left flank against Cobra's Dacian cavalry, didn't do too well. These, the shot cav going against melee cav kind of got bogged down and defeated. His militia horse archers did awful, only 3 kills apiece. His mercenary cretans did a pretty good job of killing off some soldiers with 43, 39, 37 kills apiece, which for archers is pretty good actually. And then you have his Royal Galatian Guards, 49, 72, not a whole lot of kills, but pretty average kills and very, very strong troops that were pretty durable throughout the battle. Here you have 182 kills on his Silver Shields here, 37 on this one, 55 here, so not too great. Basically just a holding force, like I said as well. His fastest only 79 kills, 11 and 17 I believe there. So yeah, again, these were kind of holding forces. A lot of these were holding forces while the cavalry managed to go round. Of course, Havoc and Jackie were a pretty big disadvantage, being against 3 armies against 2. But you have to remember as well that we kind of dropped the prices of our armies by 2,000, I believe. So while Jackie and Havoc managed to have full stacks and full kind of expenditure, we had to kind of limit ours. But at the end of the day, the sheer amount of troops just overwhelmed them. The reserve cavalry was just enough to push through and close any gaps, and kind of won the day for us. So thank you for watching. I'll try and do a bit more. Got some more stuff coming soon. I've got Havoc pushing out some naval videos, and I believe we're going to be doing a 2v2 naval battle, hopefully with Lionheart as well. So I will see you then. Thank you for watching, and keep supporting the mod. I'm working on it a hell of a lot, and I will update you all when anything comes out.